Today we're building grimdark ruins.
A place built to carry stories, shaped with care and knowledge, grounded in the science of paint and the poetry of decay.
Hello my beautiful terrain making brothers and sisters. Welcome to another video. In today's video I'm gonna guide you through the process of making this Dark Souls inspired grimdark ruin terrain set which I made recently. And I know your eyes are currently on this, but this is my current project, which is currently work in progress, and I'm just gonna tease you a little bit with the name of the project. Its name is Crimson Citadel, so you have a lot to look forward. But back into topic. Without further ado, I give word to Sir David, and he will guide you to the whole terrain making process. Enjoy!
In a quiet workshop, the process begins with a humble block of foam. It may seem unremarkable, yet in the hands of artifacts, it is the seed of a world waiting to emerge. With measured precision, he selects a blade, an X-Acto knife, and begins to shape the foam. The cuts are small, irregular, and deliberate. They mimic the randomness found in nature, the jagged fractures of stone carved by time and elemental force. Now, with a fragment of real rock, Artifacts begins to strike the surface, not in anger, but with purpose. These blows, though crude, create intricate textures, crevices, and impressions that speak of age, pressure, and erosion. A scalpel follows. With it, he carves deeper, tracing the suggestion of cracks, dividing the surface into distinct stone segments. Then once again the rock returns, accentuating every line, reinforcing the illusion of natural decay. The form now calls for detail. Artifacts introduces resin cast staircases, his own sculpted designs, available on Cult's 3D and 3D Sure.com. These pieces are not mass-produced relics, but crafted accents that enhance the terrain's character. He arranges them thoughtfully, allowing them to emerge organically from the rocky structure. Foam boulders are added, layered around the steps, slowly building height and depth. The shape takes on weight, a hill rugged and worn. More resin elements follow, each one sculpted by Artifacts himself, designed not only to decorate, but to tell a story. To unify the terrain, he turns to a unique concoction he calls sculptor mold. A careful blend of plaster, pigment, paper mache, water, and varnish. This mixture is thick and viscous, ideal for smoothing transitions and concealing seams. It binds the parts together like sediment laid down through time. Now the finishing touches. Skulls scattered like ancient remnants of conflict are delicately placed. Gravel, sand, and fragments of stone are layered on with glue, grounding the structure in a tactile realism. And so, from a simple block of foam, something remarkable has emerged. Not just a model, but a stage, ready to host battles, stories, and legends yet to be told. It is here, in this studio, that Artifacts breathes life into lifeless matter. The priming and painting lie ahead, but already the terrain speaks. We now arrive at the second stage of Artifacts' creation, the moment when raw structure is transformed through color. Here, painting is not merely cosmetic, it is revelation, and it begins, as all well-grounded painting should, with priming. A solid coat of matte black is applied. This unifying base coat serves a vital purpose. Artifacts now turns to a medium grey. Carefully, he coats only the rocky surfaces. The choice is deliberate. The stone must appear weathered, but not monochrome. Importantly, the statues and ancient walls are left untouched, awaiting their own chromatic treatment. This restraint is critical. In miniature painting, contrast tells the story. With a steady hand, a lighter beige grey is applied, the highlight of stone. Only the upper surfaces are touched. This technique, known as zenithal highlighting, mimics natural light striking from above. It is a painter's way of guiding the eye, sculpting with color as much as with form. Now Artifacts shifts his attention to the statues. A subdued camo green becomes their base. Layering continues with a second lighter green, a subtle shift applied to select areas. Here the goal is to break uniformity. In the wild, no surface ages evenly. This natural gradient adds richness and complexity. The technique mimics the effect of lichen or patina blooming unevenly across time-worn structures. At this stage, Artifacts introduces stippling, a method where pigment is dabbed rather than brushed. Using a sponge or stipple brush, he adds khaki tones to the statues and walls. The result is extraordinary. Texture appears, surfaces become rough, speckled, organic, like the surfaces of abandoned temples touched by wind and dust. Returning to the rocks, he now applies a dry brush of light gray. This age-old miniature technique is more art than science. With a soft brush, here a makeup brush, only the raised edges are kissed with paint. The effect highlights that seem to emerge from the piece rather than lie atop it. Slow, deliberate passes bring out hidden geometry. And now the ground. Using an airbrush, Artifacts applies raw umber. It seeps into cracks and contours, darkening the base and anchoring the terrain in earthy realism. Airbrushing allows for precision without harsh brushstrokes, creating soft transitions no traditional brush could easily achieve. Then a secret shared among professionals: pigment powders. Artifacts turns to a new line from gamer's grass. These dry pigments behave like soil and ash, catching in corners and around details. The charcoal black he selects is ideal for reverse shading, adding darkness not by shadow but by sediment. It is painting through accumulation. Even the statues receive this dusting. Pigment collects in recesses, deepening contrast without altering color. It's a method that adds instant age, not just visually, but emotionally. One senses that these ruins have stood for ages. Much of Artifacts' vision draws inspiration from the haunting worlds of the Dark Souls universe, places where ruin whispers and silence speaks louder than words. Like the landscapes of Lordran or Lothric, this terrain is not pristine. It is worn, forgotten, and filled with echoes of battles long past. The fractured stone, the moss-covered idols, the loneliness of the scene, all nod to a world where beauty is inseparable from decay. At this point, a sense of life is needed. With quiet joy, Artifacts applies grass tufts, light and medium greens from gamer's grass. Each tuft is placed instinctively, not measured. Nature, after all, does not follow a grid. Tufts lean, clump and sprawl. This randomness is the secret to their believability. There is something deeply satisfying here, the final steps of a world builder, adding the signs of wild growth, reclaiming ancient ground. No two placements are alike, yet all feel right. The terrain becomes not just scenery, but a living thing. If you enjoy this journey into forgotten ruins and handcrafted worlds, consider subscribing to the channel. More terrain builds, stories, and cinematic showcases are on the way. Your support helps bring these forgotten realms back to life. And now his final flourish, foliage. For this, Artifacts uses a humble yet brilliant material, crushed tea herbs. Cheap, fragrant and authentic in scale, they mimic dried leaves scattered by wind. The resulting layer suggests late autumn, a battlefield once vibrant, now dormant, waiting. And with that, the work is complete. From blank foam to weathered ruin, the transformation is total. This is not just terrain, it is stagecraft. A place built to carry stories, shaped with care and knowledge, grounded in the science of paint and the poetry of decay. Deep within a cursed forest lie the ruins of Eldhollow, a once great kingdom now lost to time and shadow. Legends tell of a pact made in desperation, a curse that twisted the land and silenced its people. What remains are broken arches, worn statues, and stairways leading nowhere. Nature reclaims the stone, but the air still holds memory. A chill, a whisper, a presence. Few who stumble upon this place understand what they've found. Fewer still leave unchanged.